Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today you join me as I go to pick up a Mercedes E-Class that I bought for just £4,500. Sounds like good value, this. I bought this from a car trader friend of mine. I think the previous owner's passed away, so it's been parked up for about 6 months, and that's never good news for any car. I know a few things about it. It's a 2012, so that's a W212 model, and because it's a 2012, that'll mean it'll have the Bluetooth audio, which the early models didn't have. I know it's an E250 CDI, which means it'll have the 200 horsepower diesel engine. It's not a bad engine. I know it's a sport model, so it should look the part. It's metallic grey with a black interior, and it's done about 120,000 miles, so it'll probably need a good service. So I'll give it a good engine service, a gearbox service, and whatever else it needs. Being a Mercedes of this era, the fake leather's probably ripped, so I'll have to get that sorted. And what else? If it's got those diamond cut wheels, they'll probably want refurbing. Well, that's about it. And I'm thinking this should be a £6,500, £7,000 car. So there should be a decent profit margin. Anyway, let's go and have a look, shall we? Well, we're here. So far, so good. It's a nice colour. It's a dark metallic grey. It doesn't have the diamond cut wheels, which is probably a good thing. It's got the twin spoke AMG style wheels. That looks pretty good. It's got xenons because I can see the headlamp wash. Although it looks a little bit low on the front end. What do you think? Or high on the back? Or a combination of the two? Looks like I've got a couple of snap springs at the front there. It's very dirty and the inside is steamed up. That looks like a car which has been sat for months and months and months. It wants a set of front reg plates because they're all worn. It needs a good clean and buff. Well, I'm not too disappointed with that, to be honest. The bodywork looks quite tidy. It does need a good buff actually, there are a few marks on that, but I'm pretty sure they'd come out. Yeah, that's not too bad. Some bird muck on the bonnet. Right, okay then. Let me do a quick vehicle history check. So as always, I'm going to go to Car Vertical. Being a used car dealer, I've used loads of these checks over the years, but genuinely I found Car Vertical to be the most thorough. It's also very easy, so you just go to carvertical.com, type in the vehicle reg, which is Yankee Echo 62, Yorkshire car, Juliet Victor Zulu. Mercedes-Benz of Huddersfield. This is currently checking millions of cars in dozens of countries, and if you want to do one of these checks for yourself, click the link below in the video description, use the promo code HIGHPEAK, and you get 10% off each and every vehicle check that you do. It's important that you do one of these checks before you buy a used car to prevent you buying a complete lemon. It also helps support the channel, so I appreciate that. This is checking to make sure that it's never been involved in a recorded accident, never had a mileage roll back, checking to see if there's any outstanding finance on it, all that sort of stuff. Right, and just like that, the report is ready. May as well turn my engine off, rather than burn through fuel. So that is a Mercedes-Benz E250 CDI sedan. That's the American version, isn't it? Saloon. Right, its mileage is genuine. It's never been stolen, never been involved in any accidents, and there's no outstanding finance, so that's all good. It was registered in the UK in November 2012. Yep, so 62. This is why this is invaluable. Sometimes it shows you the maintenance it's had as well. Now with Mercedes, all their service history is digital, it's all online. So in 2013 it had maintenance, 14 it had maintenance, 15 it had maintenance, in between all that it had MOTs, 16 maintenance, 17 maintenance, 18 maintenance, that's good. The ownership changed in 2018. Oh no, I was going to say I thought the maintenance had stopped then, but it had more in 2019, more in 21. At its last MOT, both rear tyres were close to the legal limit, but it passed, so they were advised. Right, okay, never been stolen. Yep, the mileage is fairly consistent. They're quite decent cars, these. The engine's noisy, that old 2.1 litre diesel, but they are capable of serious mileage. I've been in many of these over the years in Spain, France, Germany as taxis, and most of the time they've done 500,000 kilometres and they're still going. Right, so the equipment that it's got speed sensitive power steering. I don't know if that's standard or not. Sports seats in the front, AMG wheels. It's a 7-speed auto. We've got a cup holder. Oh, hey. And we've got a list there of outstanding recalls, so that's worth checking. Okay, well that's all pretty good, isn't it? Let's go and have a look around it then. See how much work it needs. Okay then, let's let the dog see the rabbit. Very windy today. Well, straight away, what do you think? I think that front end looks very low. That back tyre's low as well. But I think that looks like we've got a cracked spring. It's quite steamy inside, which is never good. Now, these tyres were advised on the last MOT, but I think they've been replaced. The wheels have started to bubble around here, but they're not curbed. The discs, a bit ropey, but I don't think they'd be advised. But if you can, well, you can see all those leaves. This is a car that's been sat for a long time. Needs a good old clean and buff. And it looks like it needs some paint on that back bumper. That's, I don't think that would buff. It might touch in, no, it needs painting. We've got broken paint there, broken paint around the, right, okay. So we need to paint the back bumper, give it a good clean, new set of plates. Plenty of moss growing here, like a petri dish. It's a blue efficiency model, but I think because of its age it won't be Euro 6, will it? It's probably Euro 5. Yeah, it definitely needs front plates. We've got the Xenons. They are quite a good looking car, aren't they? Especially in a good colour. That needs a bit of paint there as well. Caught a curb or something. You could just isolate that area there, so that's not the end of the world. And I suspect this side's gone the same. Yeah, it has. Sticks out quite low, that, doesn't it? Going around this side then, that definitely looks low, doesn't it? That just doesn't sit right at all, does it? And that has got a matching tyre. Oh, the Nexans. They're not too bad. Those brake discs look a bit ropey though. What have we got on the front? Oh, they're new. What brand are they? They are Green Plus by a company called Hilo. Made in China. The hallmark of quality. What about this side? Cheap Chinese tyres on a Mercedes-Benz. Sacrilege, isn't it? Another Hilo. Lovely, lovely. Wheels are quite nice though. Right, well, we've got both sets of keys, which is good. I was a bit reluctant to open. Oh, we've got mould in the boot. I hate it when cars are just left standing. It's never good, is it? Well, there's no water in there, but it does need a good clean. Right. What about inside then? Oh, is that keyless? No? No. Got my hopes up then. Oh dear. Has the seat ripped? Yeah, it has. It normally goes there, where all the person's weight is, rather than here. I'll have to get that repaired. It's got the half leather or Artico, whatever you call it, and the half Alcantara. Part electric seats. Needs a set of mats and a good clean. I like that steering wheel. It's like a sports steering wheel, isn't it? What about in the back? Oh, we've got more mould. You know what, this isn't, without sounding like a wuss, this isn't good for your health, is it, breathing all this in? Gross. Well, we've got a fresh MOT there with no advices. That's always good. Have we got any warning lights on? Let me just shut this door. Don't really want to be in this car.
Tested. And I am certain that Ukraine will rise to the task.
Whose voice is that?
The United States and Europe.
Radio 4. This isn't good for my health. It's Radio 4. So I think it's been an older person. 123 the mileage. 123,524. Wait for my glow plug light. Oh, we've got all the warning lights, ladies and gents. So we've got engine light, handbrake. I've cured one. Seatbelt, that'll be fine when I put my seatbelt on. We've got an ABS light on, and traction, that little skiddy light there. Oh, and one up here as well. So ABS and the traction inoperative. Run flat indicator inoperative. What else? And an engine light. Lovely. Well, it's idling okay. We've got heated seats. Got a little button there that drops the headrests. That's all quite neat, isn't it? More mould in there by the looks of it. What about this then? Have we got sat-nav? It says we've got sat-nav. This was the era of those Becker systems. Oh, it does. Right. I was just about to say this is the era of those Becker systems. So, had that not worked, you buy a Becker system for about 100. Oh, there's more mould. 120 quid and plug it in up there. I've done that countless of times on this era of Mercedes. Right. Service history. Like I say, there won't be a service book as such because Mercedes-Benz went digital. But we might have some other. Turn my camera away in case I expose some personal details. Right, okay, well that's good. We've got 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, all Mercedes. 2018, an independent, elite independent in Halifax. Okay then, that was done at 56. Right. Then another one, German Auto Cares in Wakefield at 110. German Auto Care Mercedes Specialist, that's good then. And it says the next one is due at 125. Okay then. That was done in October 21. I think probably since, I was going to say since then, but that wouldn't make sense, would it? Maybe 6 months after that, I think it's been stood, lying around. Everything feels damp. This paper here feels damp. That was done in 2020, Richard Street Garage in Bradford. That had a full service, 102. Work carried out. That's cheap. 75 quid. Another one there, 86. Oh, okay, well, I think this has been maintained quite well, hasn't it? Obviously, I'll give it a service, engine service, gearbox service, all that sort of stuff. We've got the old gear lever up here on these. Let's have a look under the bonnet. Where is that, one of these? Never like to see that. My little OBD door is open. Never a good sign, is it? Like someone's plugged it in. Thinking about it, you know, if all the warning lights are on and the car's been sat, that could just be because the battery's low. I'd open the bonnet on an E-Class Mercedes. I can smell marijuana in the air. Someone's having a relaxing day, aren't they? Oh, Jesus. Well, I've just broken the bonnet release. That's not good, is it? Ah, there we go. That needs fixing. Add that to my very long list. Right, well, the gas struts just about work. We've had something nibbling at that. Field mouse, rat, hungry mechanic. It smells quite fumey, but then it is a diesel and they are dirty, aren't they? This just wants a bit of a clean, really. Can't see any obvious leaks. Saying that, it's all covered in plastic, isn't it? So you'd have to have Inspector Gadget's eyes. Hello. Right, well, I think we could take this for a drive, couldn't we? See how it performs. Maybe I'll take it steady and see if these warning lights go off. Got plenty of diesel, that's good. Right. I think I'm going to take this for a quick clean because I don't want to be in it with it stinking of mould like this. Just noticed there's mould all over the seat belts. Mould on the sun visor. This isn't good for your health, this, is it? Oh, lovely. Look at that. Got mushrooms growing on my seatbelt. Right, change your plan. I'm going to take this for a quick wash without wearing my seatbelt, so I'm not going to record this and incriminate myself, and then we'll take it for a drive when it's all clean. You know, I thought this was a £7 car, but it does need a bit of work. Still telling me my bonnet's open. Right, let me go and wash it and I'll catch up with you later. Right, we're back, and this has been, if I'm being polite, I'll say challenging. If I'm being brutally honest, it's been a complete waste of time, money, and effort. Let me tell you what happened. Everything was going fine. I took it for a wash and got rid of all the mould, and it actually cleaned up all right. Then, when I was on my way to my mechanics, it went into limp mode. I figured it'd be something of nothing because it had been sitting for months, but it turned out to be quite an expensive fix. It ended up needing a new DPF pressure sensor and a new inlet manifold, and that pretty much wiped out all my profits. They did the service and the check over in the MOT, and it's now past its MOT with no advisory items at all, but it did need a new ABS sensor as well. So my bill there was quite long. And to be honest, that just knocked the wind out of my sails and I completely lost interest in it, so it's been down there for several days and I should have been to collect it earlier. Anyway, I eventually did pick it up and I took it to the body shop, and it had its rear bumper painted and those lower parts of the front bumper repainted, and in addition to that it's had a full buff, and now at least it looks pretty good. In fact, it looks the best it's looked for probably 5 years. Even though this is a 10 or 11-year-old car now, I still think it looks quite smart, especially being a sport model with the flat bottom steering wheel and the LED lights and all that sort of stuff. It still has some curb appeal. Then I took it to the trimmers. If you remember, the bolster was quite warm, and now he's done a really good job. It looks like new. If you know where to look, you can tell which panels have been replaced, but over time that should fade. Then I took it to the valeters for a full detail clean. Then I brought it back to work, screwed on some new reg plates, and job done. In a second I'm going to park up somewhere scenic and I'll talk you through my costs. But, quick spoiler alert, I've spent over £2,000 on this car. There really is no such thing as a cheap Mercedes. In fact, there's no such thing as a cheap anything. You really don't want to buy cheap, you want to buy expensive. That's what you want. When you buy something cheap, you just end up inheriting someone's deferred maintenance, then you end up with big bills. Right, anyway, let me go and park up somewhere nice. Well, here will do then. There's no particular order with this, but my first bill here is with the trimmer. Now that cost me £170, which I thought was quite good value, really. My next bill was with the paint shop. That was £385. So it has had a repair rear bumper, an offside and near side front bumper corners, repaint rear bumper and bumper corner, wash, clay bar, buff, polish, wax, full vehicle and a general clean. £385. That was well worth the money, to be honest, because now it's transformed. So my bill at my mechanics, or one of my bills, for an ABS sensor and a DPF regen and some labour, that was £203.81. The monster bill at my mechanics was this: oil filter, oil, inlet manifold, DPF pressure sensor, MOT test fee and labour, £1,367.50. Plus the MOT test fee, because that's not VATable, plus the VAT at 20%. So that took my total to 1,633. And that's what completely made me fall out of love with this car. 1,600 quid. There could have been some decent profit in this. It wasn't meant to be, was it? So that takes my total spend to £2,391.81. Actually, no, that's not quite right. We've got number plates on top of that. They were £15 and £50 for a valet. So when you add in the £4,500 that I paid for the car in the first place, my total is £6,956.81. I've currently got this car up for sale for £6,995. So if it sells for the asking price, I will make £38. That's well worth the effort and aggravation, isn't it? Oh well, next time I might actually make some money. Right, well, I think that's about it. Somebody here's going to end up with a decent car that I've spent over £2,000 on. By pure fluke, really. Right, well, I think that's about it. So thank you once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'll leave a link below. And yeah, cheers guys. See you next time.